Welcome back. We have Mark Bertoli joining us from Abbott Wealth Financial on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you keeping?
I'm fantastic.
Good. I understand we have a trade deficit in this country.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk a little, we're going to do a thing called macroeconomics today. We're going to take a look at Canada from 30,000 feet and how our trade and exports are doing and things like that. So,
okay, all right. We have some charts. Do you want to start with those?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's do that.
This is a 10-year chart that looks at the exports for Canada. So what we manufacture and send to other countries around the world. There is a little bit of a neat thing. We just hit $46 billion in January, and it was a record high of all-time export for Canada.
In looking at this graph, if we keep it up for a minute, I noticed that right around the tech crash in 2008, there was, well, shortly thereafter, quite a spike as well. Why would that be?
Well, that was, if you remember, we had $150 oil just before the crash in 2008. So at that point in time, one of our biggest exports was oil. And minerals were also doing very well. So mining and the drivers of the Canadian economy. Then you saw a fall in 2008 and then a slow recovery. 79% of our exports go to the U.S. So if the U.S. economy isn't doing well, you know, they sneeze, we get a cold. So when your main consumer isn't buying that much, you can see that it has an effect on our exports as well.
Like 2009.
Yeah, 2009, and then the slow recovery, and then back. What's significant about January is where we had peaks before record highs is because of mineral and oil exports. Right now, they are not doing well. So now you're seeing things like consumer discretionary goods, auto parts and automobiles and things like that have stepped in because of our low dollar to cause that record high export for $46 billion for the month of January.
That's significant.
Yeah, so the other thing I found very interesting, of maybe bring up the next chart, is Canadian exports for 45 years. And what I found really interesting about that is I could almost lay the U.S. and Canadian stock markets right over top of that.
Is that right?
And they're very highly correlated. Again, because our trade partners spend more money when things are good, and thus our exports go up. So, and the next one is the difference between what we bring in a country and what we export in a country. So your observation again of 2008, 2007, that spike was back when oil was around $150 a barrel. So our export dollars went up. Recently, we had two key drivers of our exports, which were energy and minerals and mining have gone down in exports. So you can see that we're actually at about a $15 billion a year trade deficit, which means that we're bringing more into Canada right now than we're exporting. So good economic indicator when you see your exports high. That means that the consumers around the world are healthy and they're wanting what we sell. And I think the message from January was, we talked last fall about how our Canadian dollar had gone down and it made our manufacturing more competitive and exports more competitive around the world. So in order to make a record in January, that means that we have switched largely from energy, minerals, and mining to other aspects of our economy that drove that record high export. So kind of good news for Canada.
It is, yeah.
And things looking forward are looking pretty good as well.
Do we have one more chart?
We don't have another chart, but we have the question of the day.
I thought we only saw two charts. Boy, I missed that third one. Sorry.
Yeah.
No worries. Let's get to the question. What is an enduring power of attorney?
Okay, so, and why do I need one, most importantly? So a power of attorney gives somebody else the right to make decisions on your behalf. And that's pretty common. And you'll see that in a lot of older wills. An enduring power of attorney is something you want to check out with your lawyer and make sure that that is in place. For instance, if I were to have a car accident and I lost my ability, I became mentally incapable, with a regular power of attorney, you would no longer have power to make decisions on my behalf. However, if you had an enduring power of attorney, that means that even if I had a disease that caused mental incapacity or a car accident or something like that, the very reason that power of attorney is there, you can still make decisions based on the enduring power of attorney.
Okay, so that person
it's
can
pretty
step in.
important for estate planning, and it's worth a phone call to your lawyer or digging your will out to make sure that that's in place.
Okay, so that person can make decisions for you if you're not mentally capacitated to do so,
Right.
but you're still alive.
Absolutely.
Okay, good to know. I didn't know there's a difference between the two. So good to know.
There you go.
Mark Bertoli, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
If you have any questions for Mark, you can certainly get a hold of him. Information on the screen, abbottwealth.com as well. The phone number 372-3736. We're back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.